Well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery. It's a beautiful Thursday morning, December 28th, 2023. We get together most weekday mornings at this time. And today we're going to talk about execution, because if we don't execute, then businesses don't get funded. And if you're a distribution partner, you don't make money. So we need to focus on execution. So today's discussion is going to be focused on what do you need to do to execute, to do those two things, to help clients get funding and to help you make money. So I put a little note screen here in the top of the page just for a reference of what we're going through. Maybe that will help. We're always on chapmanloanprogram.org, and those resources remain, but I want to bring your attention to where we're at specifically. So we had about 40 lenders that we were working with previously that were committed to our cause, committed to our mission and vision, and wanted to help clients get funding to start or grow a business. So that's great. But most importantly, we added a new lender, and we just signed the contract this week. We just went through training and we've been funding deals. It's going well. So this new lender is unique because it's what's called a buy now, pay later lender. So that allows anyone to get approved. Everyone gets approved. No one is declined. So their credit doesn't matter. Their verifiable income doesn't matter. Their nationality doesn't matter. Their criminal history doesn't matter. Everyone gets approved through the buy now, pay here lender. This changes everything, doesn't it? Because now we can literally help everyone. They can't say, well, I can't afford it. There is a down payment. The lender does require a down payment, $500 down. You might say, well, why is that? If it's buy now, pay later, why is there any money down? Because the lender understands if people don't have some skin in the game, then they may not be real, they may not be committed. So there is a down payment, and you commonly see that. So don't be thrown off by it. But it's only $500 down. So with only $500 down, they can participate in the startup business funding package, which provides the scope of services that we've talked about, and then it's labeled here. So we're providing them a unique commercial address. That address is provided to them for free. They'll have that for as long as they want it. So they have an address of record that meets the lender criteria. It's not a residential, it's not post office box, it's not a shared, it's a unique address. That's included for free in the package. If they need help with entity filing, we do that for free with the Secretary of State. We help them get their EIN and then use the EIN to open their business bank account. We help them build their business credit profiles, like with Dun & Bradstreet and Experian Business. And then we actually help them add primary trade lines, real trade lines that they can use, whether it be a company automobile, which we had a training on that, company credit cards, which we've talked about that, lots of different, but these are real trade lines, usable trade lines under the EIN. Then we help them create a balance sheet, and we transfer over $10,000 to everyone. We used to joke and call it, well, you don't pay to participate, we pay you to participate, because we know a lot of small businesses don't have the collateral that's needed. So we're providing the $10,000 of assets included. And then we work with them to get the funding, because now we have a fundable business. So this is just a recap of here. I'm just trying to show it to you in maybe a different way to get your attention. I mean, this is a great value proposition, but more importantly, it's specifically what it takes to have a fundable business. And they're only out $500 down to do this because of the new lender. Now, we started the conversation about execution. So if you don't take this and go educate and help people, then almost shame on you, right? Because there's a lot of small business owners that want and need funding. They're not able to start or grow or reach their potential. And you have the recipe, what we call the formula for funding, to get any client, any participant, at least 250,000. I would almost say you have a moral obligation to go out and educate people. And when we talk about education, we have the resource here, the 10 mistakes. We provide you the PowerPoint. You can either play the on-demand version for people, you can teach it live, you can teach it online, you can teach it to individuals, you can teach it to small groups, large groups. But financial literacy is the best way, we believe, to get the client conversation started. But regardless, at some point we need to execute, we need to enroll these clients. And now, because of this new lender, it's only $500 down. So let's make sure we're all clear on the very simple process to enroll clients using the buy now, pay later lender. If you have questions, you have comments, you have concerns, go ahead and type those into the Q&A, the question and answer box. It's like a chat box of Zoom. Today's discussion should be interactive. We need to solve problems. If you're not able or you don't know how to enroll clients, we need to cover that today. I don't want to spend as much time rehashing, the grant and how great it is and all of that, because that's true. But we need to make sure you can go execute today. We need to make sure that you can go enroll a client today. We need to make sure that you're able to make money today. All right, so what is the simple process for getting a client in for only $500 down? First thing that we need to do is get the client under contract. Otherwise, they're not a client, they're a prospect. Technically, there's two ways to do that: the simple way and the normal way. So the simple way is you drop their name, email, phone, and put your name here and hit submit or send. And then you have them come over here, click step 2, and enroll on our website. So that's the simple way. That's not the normal way, but that's the simple way. That'll do the trick if that's what you need right now to keep things simple. So 2 steps on that, put their information here, and then help them fill out step 2. As we've talked about several times, we don't recommend giving people links and then saying, hey, go do it. Most people won't. You typically want to stay online. You want to be on the phone or with the individuals in person as they're completing the steps. So the simple way to do number 1 is to bring them over to chapmanloanprogram.org. You put in their information here and referred by you, so we know it's your deal. And then you help them complete step 2, but they need to fill it out. That's not the normal way, that's the simple way. The normal way is each of you who are distribution partners, and if you're not a distribution partner, this bottom link down here under grant resources will do the trick. That'll get you set up to be a distribution partner. But normally when you become a distribution partner, we onboard you, we send you an editable version of the client agreement. So in those cases, you're never bringing people to our website. Instead, you're using your resources that we've provided you templates of, including the client agreement. And with that, then you get the client under contract. So let's stop there for a moment. Does anyone, we have a bunch of people, 427 of you, thank you all for joining us. Do any of you have a question on number 1? And I see that there's some other questions and I'm not ignoring them. We'll come back to those. But on the simple process, does everyone now know how to enroll a client? There's the simple way where you bring them over to our website, drop in their information, your information here, and then you walk them through step 2. Or the normal way is you take the editable version of the client agreement that we've sent you. If you don't have it, let us know. Our phone number and emails here. And then you get them under contract. But you have to do this first. If you can't do this, then nothing else matters, right? So does anyone need help on number 1? If not, we're going to proceed through and go through the 4 steps. And we'll come back to these other questions that others have, of course. Okay, so that's crucial to execute, to help people, to make money. You have to be able to understand these 4 steps. Step one's pretty straightforward. Now, and David's bringing up a good point. If you don't do the simple way, then you do have to take the editable client agreement that we sent you. You make the changes, you take our information off, you put your information on, you use Adobe or DocuSign, whatever method you want, and you have them sign it. So there's some steps to get them to do it under your contract. If you have that type of technological sophistication, then great, shouldn't be a problem. Some of you, God love you, computers and you don't get along. So if that's too much or too much right now, that's okay. Then you can do the simple way. Put their information here and your information here. And then secondly, have them enroll right here on step 2. But stay with them, walk them through it. But they need to fill it out. You can't fill it out. All right, so we're good there. So I think we all know how to enroll a client. They need to be under contract. If we're going to do the buy now, pay later option, then you're going to collect the $500 down payment. Yes, they're going to pay you the $500 down payment. That's the concept of our model, of our branches, of our distribution partners, is these clients are coming to contract with you. So you control the terms, you control the conditions, you control the pricing, you're in control of the client. People like that. But what that means is then you, and I can change that. Let me change this. You collect the 200. You get the client under contract because you're making half the deal, right? So on number 2, if we're going to do the buy now, pay later lender, you're going to collect the down payment from them. You keep half and you send us half. Pretty straightforward. Questions on steps 1 or 2 so far? Because today we're talking about execution. We need to be confident and competent as we leave today's Zoom to go help people, to go enroll people, to go make money. Now we should be able to enroll a lot of people because it's only $500 down with the buy now, pay later lender. Okay, everybody good on steps 1 and 2? If not, it's okay. Ask the question because this is the time to resolve it. Okay, great. Now, then the third step is if we're using the buy now, pay later lender, and they're under contract and they paid you $500. Now we need to get a finance app completed. Where is that? Scroll down, and it's right here. Click here to apply for financing. So you're going to want to be on the phone with them or in person with them because we don't want to just tell people what to do and say, go do it, because people will get lost, they'll get confused, they'll get distracted. That's not good business. You want to be on the phone or with them in person, either or, and guide them to the chapmanloanprogram.org, have them click here and stay on the phone with them when they complete it. It's not complicated. Well, I'll show it to you. It's not complicated at all. It's very simple. The top half, it's going to come up here. Oh, I clicked on the wrong one, didn't I? I clicked on the training video. Sorry. Now we got the app is very simple. The top half is business information. If they don't have it, it says it's optional. They can skip all that. The bottom half is their personal information. We need a completed app. So with that, let me pull the notepad up. We need the completed finance app to be able to move forward and getting them set up for the buy now, pay later lender. Now, what could very well happen is that they fill out that app, which is here, and they may, in fact, get other financing options. Wouldn't that be great? Maybe they get an offer for some working capital, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. That's not unusual. So not only do they have enough to cover the setup fee for the startup program, they may have some extra working capital in their pocket. That's great. We won't know what that will be. Now, this feeds into the question that some of the others have asked you, what will the interest rates be? Well, number one, the client can accept or decline any offer. So if they don't like it, they don't have to accept it. But I don't know what their interest rates are going to be. And you shouldn't be telling them what their interest rates are going to be. Only the lenders can tell them what the interest rates will be because you and I are not the lender. So once they filled this out, then we're able to run and get them offers. Everyone will get at least the buy now, pay later offer, but they may get other offers that would allow them to pay now and also have additional working capital. But no one gets declined. There's no hard inquiries. And okay, and so I see Bobby's got a question. So we need steps 1 and 2 to be done before we do step 3. A couple of you are circumventing the process. You're skipping step 1, you're skipping step 2, and you're bringing people right to step 3. Well, we don't do that. So if you have anyone like that, then they sit in limbo until we have steps 1 and 2 done. So that's why they're ordered that way. So once the finance application is in, we run that with no hard inquiries and we get them their offers. A lot of people get multiple offers. They can accept those or not accept those. It's up to them. Let's say that they don't, and so because their credit's jacked up or what have you, so that they are a buy now, pay later client, which is kind of what we're talking about. So that's fine. Let's talk about what that looks like. So if that's the case, then we will set up that in the system with the lender, and then the client's going to get an email that says, hey, you've been approved for buy now, pay later. And it's real simple for them to set up. What they're going to put in is their banking information for future payments. Payments are on a monthly basis, not weekly, and essentially they accept those terms and conditions. So that's a third-party lender. It's not us. It's not us pretending to be someone else. It's a third-party lender that they'll pay for the buy now, pay later option. So the point is, we'll take everything from there once you get these first 3 steps done. So at this point, you've made $250 up front, and then you're going to get the rest of it when the client pays. And so you're getting $250 up front, not getting it all up front. You're going to get the rest in 30 days. All right, so let's get over to the questions, comments, concerns that any of you have, because again, the goal today is I want all of you to be really comfortable, confident, and competent with the buy now, pay later option, because we're able to help a lot more people when they only need to come up with $500 down. All right, let's see. So Cecile was asking about the interest rates. And so you and I, Cecile, will never quote interest rates because we're not the lenders. We don't know. Right now, there is no interest rate. They don't even have an offer, right? And until they have offers, there are no terms. Clients will see the terms. If they like the terms, then they'll accept the terms. And if not, no. Now, keep in mind, this may seem obvious, but keep in mind, what we're going to do is build a fundable business, right? That's what's highlighted here. That's what the program's all about. But in the beginning, their business isn't fundable. So the offers that they get from the initial funding app is probably going to be heavily weighted on them individually. But the goal is in 30 to 60 days, create a fundable business so the business is fundable, right? That's what we're doing. Some people get confused. They're like, they're wanting business funding up front. Well, the business isn't fundable yet, right? That's why they're in the program. So the initial tranche of funding is going to be based most likely, unless they already have a strong business otherwise, mostly it's going to be based upon individual qualifications where the goal here is for business. I had a kind of not a heated, but had an issue with one of our partners yesterday. They brought a client in and the client has bad personal credit. It's like, fine, this here is not predicated on personal credit. So that's okay. but first tranche is. And we can't help that, right? Because first tranche, the business isn't fundable yet. So hopefully that makes sense to everyone. All right. So Bobby asked about performance fees. So for each of you who are a distribution partner, you need to decide if you're going to add a performance fee or not for your clients that are going through the program. So you control that. I don't control that. You control that because we provide you, Bobby, an editable client agreement. And if you want a performance fee to be included, you add that. Now, if you're driving them in what we call the simple process on our website, there is no performance fee for us, for you, for them, for anyone. But if you're doing it the normal way, you take the editable agreement, you can add a performance fee in. We have some of you who add a significant performance fee, some add a minor, some don't offer any at all. But that's up to you. So thank you, Bobby, for that question. Samantha is asking about performance fees. Yeah, so on the performance fees, we split those 50-50. So if you do add a performance fee, just like we're splitting the upfront, we're splitting that 50-50 on the back end after the client's capital raise. What I really encourage you to do is our service model with each of you is to have weekly one-on-one calls. And I really encourage you to do that because that allows us to make sure that we're supporting you and training you. Any clients that you have are being taken care of. Make sure that any prospects that you have that we're putting our heads together to get them to move from prospect to client. So please, please, please schedule our weekly one-on-ones, and those are done via Calendly. I'll get a number of you that just kind of want to call on the fly, and that's difficult. We may be caught up with other clients or other things are going on, and we don't want you to be frustrated. You deserve undivided attention. So I think that's probably the next step for many of us is to schedule one-on-ones. And if you don't know how to do that, you can email us and we can send you the link to our Calendly. All right, so Misty's got a question, and Misty's talking about compliance. So from the perspective of compliance, the client has certain expectations where they'll engage so we can take them through this process. And then those of you who are distribution partners, there's promises, and I think this is what Misty's getting to. There's promises that we made to you and promises you made to us. So obviously you want to make sure that we're doing what we promised to do to support your branch. So you have the resources and the training and we're delivering as promised. But if you are one of our distribution partners, one of the promises that you made is to enroll at least 2 clients a week after an initial 30-day grace period, because we don't want dabblers. We want people that are actively engaged. If you're not compliant, then you're not going to be able to continue. You're essentially breaching the agreement we have. So schedule a call with us. Let's discuss where you're at, figure out why you're off track if you are off track, and get that resolved. But they just can't. The audit committee came in and they've audited all the files, and so now they're in the process of reaching out to everyone who's not compliant. It shouldn't be hard to be compliant. It should be easy to be compliant. If you do what we talk about, we've talked about working with networking groups. We've talked about teaching, building a sales funnel through financial literacy. There shouldn't be a problem at all of helping at least 2 clients a week. But if you're not, then I need you to recognize that you're off track and that we've got to resolve it, or you won't be able to continue in that capacity. And in fact, you'll be responsible for the license fee that you promised to pay if you didn't perform. So we don't want you to pay the license fee, but you have responsibilities just like we do. So strongly encourage you to reach out if you're not compliant or if you're not sure, and let's resolve that. so we can do that through our one-on-ones. Cecile says some people think it's a scam. Well, and we've talked about this before, Cecile, but let's go through it. So, what could they think is a scam? So, do they think that having a business address is not important? I mean, that would be financial literacy on their part, but maybe they think that. So, I wonder, Cecile, before I go through each of the bullets, are you teaching them first? Because if you don't teach first, then they often don't have a frame of reference. They don't even know what they don't know. But let's break down. So where could this scam thing come in, Cecile? Is it that addresses are not necessary? Of course they are. So that's probably not it. Do they think that the Secretary of State doesn't form new businesses? Well, of course they do, and we'll pay for that. Do they think that the EIN is not important for a business? I mean, that's crazy talk, but maybe they think that. Maybe they're anti-government conspiracists. Do they think that business credit doesn't matter for businesses? That you don't have to have a good business credit profile to get loans? Well, that's craziness, but maybe they think that. Do they think that you don't need collateral to qualify for loans? Well, maybe they don't know the 3 C's: credit, collateral, and capacity. But as we go through it, Cecile, I mean, it's all a matter of fact, right? How can someone think that any of these elements are not exactly as presented? But I think here's the problem, and I don't know, Cecile, but I think the problem most likely is you're not teaching them. If you teach them first using the curriculum that we provided, then they have an adequate frame of reference. They know how to think about it. But if they don't know how to think about it, they're probably operating off of misinformation or a lack of knowledge. And so in most cases, that's typically going to be the problem. When you get people that are pushing back, they think it's either too good to be true or it's a scam or something like that. I don't think you educated them well enough before you offered them the solution. Because if they know that they have a problem and they do want funding, then we have a great solution for them. And now with the buy now, pay later, they're only out of pocket $500. I mean, they would probably spend that much or close to it on their own to file with the Secretary of State. They'd pay that much or more to probably get an address. They'd pay a lot more than that to go work with other companies that build business credit that we do for free. And obviously, if we're providing them 10,000 is vastly more than $500. So my response to you, Cecile, is make sure that you're teaching them properly. For those of you that just want to go in and go make the pitch and try to close the deal, that's probably where you're going to get most pushback because they don't know what they need to know. And that's why we keep talking about leading with financial literacy. So again, if you've not scheduled your one-on-one, please do so. If you're not compliant, we've got to resolve that. We're at the end of the year and they're going to be closing down the branches that are not compliant. And so that's, I guess, I don't know what else to say. We made promises to you, you made promises to us. If you feel like we're not doing what we promised to do, you got to let us know so we can resolve it. And we're going to be letting you know if you're not. And so with that being said, we'll be back tomorrow morning, same time, same place. Of course, you know how to reach us by phone. You know how to reach us by email. Let's make sure we have our one-on-ones. There's too many other questions, frankly, to answer here. There's a bunch, but if you can schedule our one-on-ones, we can dig into the rest. But we have to make sure that you're compliant. If you're not compliant, let's show good faith. Let's get a client or two in this week to show that you are capable, that you are competent, and then we can revisit resetting the grace period. All right, thanks everyone. We'll see you back tomorrow morning. Have a good day. Bye-bye.